Tyler King and Evan Cook getting you set for another important home game for the Fort McMurray Oil Barons. Their third last match at the Casman Centre this year. Tonight, Evan, they host the Calgary Canucks, but still in the back of the minds of a lot of Oil Barons fans is a game last night against the Brooks Bandits. Close through 40 minutes of play, a 2-1 deficit for the Mob. They fall 3-1, and it seemed like not finishing on chances in the first was really their demise.
Yeah, it certainly was. And you look back to that first period last night, it's a pretty entertaining one at that. You know, the Barons were stymied by Michael Frederick many times, and then it just seems like, you know, Brooks got some confidence underneath them. In the next two periods, they really carried the play, and they came out with a pretty solid win last night.
So the Barons have to obviously put that behind them. A season split of the series with Brooks isn't anything to cough about. It's better than they've had over the last 2 years. And now they have a team in the Calgary Canucks where the start of the season series, we've got to throw that out of the window too, because the last time these two teams played, the Barons bus had crashed the night before, and they were on about 3 or 4 hours sleep, and they still won the game. Tonight, though, both these teams are fairly different, and for the Calgary Canucks, they've got some big weapons. Colin Cooper is a goaltender who always gives them a chance to win. A guy like Chase McMurphy is a former Calgary Mustang, got acquired from them for them midway through the season, and is nearly a point-a-game guy for them, and a big WHL acquisition for them at the start of the year, Bryson Gore. This is a Canucks team that has talent at the top end.
Yeah, they certainly do, and, you know, there's the key players to watch, you know, like you mentioned, for Calgary, and, you know, it's going to be up to the Barons to shut down those guys that you mentioned, shut down the guys that they need to, you know. Don't have lots of points at the top of the scoring, you know, and that might, you know, dissuade some people in, you know, having confidence in the Canucks. But you look at a guy like McMurphy, you know, he does have 21 points this season. He's a good offensive guy, and, you know, the Barons, if they don't shut down the big guns, you know, it could easily be another loss here.
You might expect a team that's near the basement of the AJHL South to not have much energy coming into the Casman Centre, but I don't think, Evan, either of us expect that from a Calgary Canuck team that, shockingly enough, finds itself in a battle for the last playoff spot in the South Division with the Calgary Mustangs right now. As much as the Barons are battling with Bonnyville, Sherwood Park, etc., I think it's the battle the Canucks are in that's pretty darn compelling too.
Yeah, it sure is. You know, Canucks right now in last place in the South, but just 2 points back of the Mustangs, and they've got 2 games in hand as well going into the games tonight. So these are big, meaningful games for Calgary as well. And, yeah, they're going to be a hungry team. They're not going to come out flat.
The one thing for Mob fans that didn't work out badly for them last night is the fact that the out-of-town scores went their way in this North Division. Lloydminster lost big time to Spruce Grove, held to just 12 shots. Barons still 5 points back of them with 2 games in hand. Same for the Sherwood Park Crusaders, who lose. Barons still ahead of Sherwood Park with 2 games in hand. But Bonnyville now is a real threat to the Barons standing in the North Division, Evan, with the Barons just 1 game in hand on Bonnyville and 1 point back of the Pontiacs. Oh boy, you're talking about pretty well a 3-team race. Could be 4 if Sherwood Park starts to surge for that second spot in the North.
Yeah, Bonnyville is the real threat, and they've really peaked at the right time in the season here, the Pontiacs have. And, you know, you mentioned the point differential there. And for the Barons, you know, we've talked before about the fact that they've got the 2 games against the Lloydminster Bobcats to close out the season here. But if they don't start picking up some wins, it could be too big a gap to bridge when the Bobcats finally come to town. So going to be pretty interesting to see how tonight plays out, because Barons have a big 4-game road swing next week.
That they do, but right now the Canucks are going to have to do battle with the Fort McMurray faithful. We're looking forward to another big puck drop tonight at the Casman Centre. The Barons and the Calgary Canucks coming up at 8 o'clock.